Hey guys, Fred and I are out west. We are in Utah. We got this little flatbed load, 13.5 feet wide, come out of Montreal, and it's going to Oregon. We're hauling parts for a hydroelectric dam. The heavy haul business around home's a little bit slow right now. We don't go out to the west coast very often, so when I was offered this load, I jumped on it. It's going to give us a nice change of scenery. So I've been running this truck for a little over a year now. If you ask me if I'm happy with my choice, I am very happy. I always joke, it's never too late to regret, but I don't regret so far. That being said, is it worth it being an owner-operator? Why do you want to be an owner-operator? If you're only doing it for the money, strictly for the money, no, it's not worth it. After everything is said and done, I got a lot more expense, a lot more responsibility, and I'm left with about the same money I was making as a driver. I won't be shy, I'll tell you guys what my numbers are. After all my bills are paid for the truck, fuel, insurance, truck payment, maintenance, everything else, leaves me about $10,000 left over every month for myself, which is roughly what the wages are for a heavy haul company driver. If one day I get the equipment paid for and I don't go out and buy a new truck and I'm running equipment that's paid for, I understand there might be a little bit higher maintenance cost, but still, then I can see it being a little bit more profitable. But while you're making a truck payment, you're going to come out about the same as a company driver. So if you're strictly doing it for the money, why would you go through all the extra hassle and responsibility and all the extra stress just to make the same amount of money as a driver? It's not worth it. However, I knew that going into this, and everybody wants to make money, so I'm happy I'm not losing any money. But money wasn't really my prime goal buying a truck. I'm doing it because I love what I do. It's the lifestyle. I always wanted to drive a Peterbilt 389. Belmare wasn't about to buy me one, so I want to buy myself one. I wasn't allowed to have the dog in the truck with Belmare. Now I'm allowed to have the dog in the truck. I wasn't allowed to keep the truck at home with Belmare. Now I keep the truck at home. It's just more convenient for me. I don't have to supply a personal vehicle just to leave parked at the yard all week while I'm gone for weeks on end. And it gives me a little bit more freedom while I'm on the road. Like going out west here, I'm gonna get some layovers while I do a logbook reset. Back when I was driving a company truck, I wouldn't be allowed to take the truck very much for personal use. Now I can drive around a little bit if I want to go visiting. I was down in Texas a couple of times last winter. I had to spend the weekend in Texas, and I was about 2 hours from the beach driving the Belmare truck. I would have just sat in the truck stop all weekend, twiddled my thumbs, and watched the trucks go by on the highway. With my own truck, it's my truck, it's my fuel. I pulled the pin, drove down to the beach, and had an awesome weekend down on the beach. So that's the difference for me, owning my own truck versus being a company driver. You're not really doing it for the money, you're just doing it for the a little bit extra freedom, and to have something that we spend so much time in these trucks. I sleep in this truck way more than I sleep at home. So you want something that's more to your liking. It feels more like home. It represents me better, if you want. So I did go over the specs when I first got the truck, but there's been a few new subscribers that keep asking me every week what the specs are on this truck, so we'll go over it again. This is a 2020 Peterbilt 389. It had just under 800,000 kilometers when I bought it. The motor had already been rebuilt and it was under warranty from Cummins. That's the reason I bought it. Hopefully it'll last me a few years before it needs to be rebuilt again. It's got an 18-speed manual transmission. When I bought it, it was running 370 rears. I've had it changed recently to 410 rears. Pull a little bit better in the hills with the heavier loads. It's a 3-axle truck, not a 4-axle truck. I wanted a truck that's flexible. When you got payments to make, it's important that you keep running all the time. I can't afford to sit at home and wait for only the bigger loads. Especially these days, the heavy haul market is up and down. So I wanted a flexible truck that I'm spec'd about medium duty. I can do fairly heavy loads, but I'm not so heavily spec'd that I can't do the regular loads also. I can do lighter loads when the heavy haul work is slow. So it's a nice truck for me. Gives me a little bit of flexibility. I can go pretty much anywhere with it, and I can haul a lot with it. Like I said, legal loads up to 9-10 axle heavy haul loads, no problem. And yeah. I gotta give a shout out again to Ultimate Sans Camion on the South Shore of Montreal, Quebec. They're the ones that sold me this truck. Of course, everybody's a little bit worried when they're going and buy a truck or they're buying somebody else's problems. It was a big stress for me if I'm buying a lemon that's gonna cost me a lot of maintenance. But luckily, knock on wood, it hasn't cost me any more than regular routine maintenance. That of course it's a truck, it's gonna break from time to time. You gotta put money into it. But I don't feel like I bought somebody else's problems. I haven't had any major repairs to do yet on it, and I've been running it for a little over a year. I've put a little over 100,000 kilometers on it so far, and so far it's been really good to me. It's inevitable. Sooner or later I'm gonna have a major breakdown, but again, I'm really happy that I don't feel like I'm buying somebody else's problems. So again, thank you to Ultimate Sans Camion, Sebastien and Eugenie for taking care of me and selling me a solid truck. So even though this is only a flatbed load and it's only about 13.5 feet wide, it's not the heaviest load, it's not the biggest load, it's not the widest load, but every load still has its challenges, especially on the left side. This load is loaded right at the front of the trailer, which means I cannot see anything in my mirrors out the left side. I'll try to draw you guys a little bit of a picture, but it makes a huge difference if your wide load is loaded at the front of the trailer or further back on the trailer for the angle that your mirrors can see in. And loaded right at the front of the trailer like this, I actually had to slide my fifth wheel all the way back to the end of the track just to be able to turn for whenever I got to turn back up jackknife or whatever to park in a truck stop. I don't want to run into my headache rack. It is worth $10,000. Nice custom made heavy rack. Thank you very much. And out here in the western states at 13.5 feet wide, an escort isn't required, so I'm all by myself. Unfortunately, companies just don't have the budget to pay for escorts when escorts aren't required, so I lost that battle. I'm all by myself. To compensate for it, because I really can't see anything on my left side mirror, I've got a backup camera, a portable wireless backup camera that's meant for RVs and stuff like that, but I've got it installed in the back of the trailer, and it's pretty nice. It gives me a good view of what's coming up behind me. So if there's anything on the shoulder, any trucks on the shoulder, or any cars broke down on the shoulder that I gotta move over for at the last minute, I can look at the backup camera, I see if anybody's coming up behind me, and I'm not cutting anybody off. It's pretty nice, works pretty well. So I've mounted my wireless backup camera to the back of the trailer. It's just a generic, regular wireless backup camera you can get off of Amazon or off the internet. It's made for RVs and stuff like that. And I've put it on a magnet mount so it sticks right to the back of the trailer. Luckily, all Belmar's trailers have power outlets at the back for our oversized load lights. And I've got the same power cord on the wireless backup camera so I can draw power right from the trailer. And that allows me to see what's behind me, what's coming up. It's a lot safer. If I got to get over for a truck or some work vehicles on the shoulder, then I can not just look in the mirrors, but I can see what's coming up directly behind me, and I don't have to cut anybody off. It's a pretty easy system and it works pretty good. Just a little bit added security. Just got some cores back there now. Move over. Okay, we got it. Thank you. Hey guys, we just left the brake check area at the top of Cabbage. We're starting down the west side. I actually did film coming up the east side, but it wasn't too spectacular. I think the view coming down the west side is going to be a lot better. Gonna be a 6% downgrade for the next 6 miles. When we get to the crest up here, I'll slow down a little bit and go down the other side. Especially when you don't know the mountain, you never start down too quick. That's how guys get in trouble. The brakes heat up, their brakes catch on fire and stuff. You always start down slow, especially on a hill that you're not used to. The way I judge if a hill's going to be steep or not, I usually look at the trucks going the other way. It gives you a good idea. If the trucks seem to be still rolling about 60 miles an hour going up, well, then the hill's probably not going to be too bad. You don't really have to worry about it. If the trucks are coming up at 30 miles an hour with their four-way flashers on, good indication it's going to be a pretty steep downgrade and you're going to want to slow down. And we'll slow down here. We'll even drop a gear or two.
You can move over if you want.
I'll be ahead of him. I'm just wanting to get ahead of him and then we'll slow down.
Once you get around this curve, the steepest part of the hill is going to be up here on top.
And forward.
The next one, it'll be a right-hand curve.
And you can actually see the highway way down there to the right. You want to smell outside, Fred? Again, this is Cabbage Pass, I-84 out in Oregon.
God, this guy's loaded.
That's okay. He probably knows the hill better than I do. I'll let him go.
Yeah.
And I'm even going to drop one more.
One of them super big loaders, you know. Looks like 3 tiers there.
The idea is to find a gear that you just let the truck work, let the engine brake work without actually riding the brakes going down the hill. You don't want to ride the air brakes. Use them every now and then when you need to, but you don't want to overuse the air brakes. And a trick when your engine brake isn't quite enough, hit the manual fan switch, turn your fan on, and that'll actually help slow you down a little bit. Now we're just cruising down right now. I'm not touching the fuel, I'm not touching the brakes. We're running about 40 miles an hour. We won't have any problem when we get into these sharp curves up ahead. Grossing about 75,000 pounds, which isn't a lot for heavy haul, but it's right up there for regular trucks. You don't seem impressed, Fred. 1 mile to the runaway truck ramp. We'll try to avoid that. I can see this being an interesting hill in the wintertime with the wind blowing. A little bit of snow or freezing rain on the road here could get interesting. Highway snaking up on the left side there. We had some rain not too long ago, so I hope the camera is not too spotted up. I appreciate you guys understanding that these videos are fun and all, but it's not my primary job. Of course, my primary job is driving the truck and getting the load delivered. So unfortunately, when the cameras malfunction, don't work, whatever, we only get one take. We can't go back and do a second take. Getting to the bottom, can shut the engine fan off. And we'll start letting it roll a little bit. We can see the bottom. On the last curve, we'll grab one more and we'll just let her roll down. Pretty good. We made it all the way from the summit all the way to the bottom. I never touched the air brakes a single time. We're loaded 75,000 gross. That's how you do it. And we're actually going to be parking at the truck stop right here at the bottom of the mountain because I've only got 27 minutes left in my logbook for the day. So this is where we're going to call it an evening. You guys want to come in and park with me? We'll see how it goes.
Good on your journey.
I appreciate the help, but it's just a 53-foot trailer I should be able to manage.
Once we turn this corner, would you like me to go scout out the parking situation?
No, figure it out. You can just stick around so you can help me back up. We don't need fuel. We already got fuel today, so just go find a place to park. I already spotted a double parking in the back. 13.5 feet wide. I take 2 places to park. Call you back.
Oh, looky there. There's 4 of them in a row right here.
like a challenge, so I'm gonna back up between the Schneider truck and this red truck. If you want to just watch this side, please.
Sure. Back wheels are left or right on the white line.
Yeah, we're taking 2 spots right down the middle.
Yeah, you're not down the middle. He is drifting that way a little bit.
Yeah, I'll pull it forward and I'll just move it over a little bit.
Copy. Yeah, that's better. Put that line right down the middle. Drift it to this side a little bit, and then you'll be good. Got that big cement barrier back there.
I'm actually cheating because I've got my handy backup camera. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Hold on, I can't see it on this side.
That's gonna be pretty good. I'll get out and look.
Yeah, you're pretty dang close to it.
Okay, the customer doesn't want us to be there until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, so we won't leave here until 8 o'clock if you want to come and meet me about 8 o'clock.
I can do that.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too.
We only got about an hour left to go to get to the customer. 1 day left. We've already been on the road 6 days with this thing. I know it's not 6 days if you drive direct, but if you knew the amount of detours that we've had, we have zigzagged all over the country. Hey, Fred? We're gonna get there though. Well, we made it here, guys. After 5,800 kilometers, including all the detours, we made it here. Just in time. I've got at least exactly 13 minutes left in my 70 hours. So after we make this delivery, we are not going very far. We're gonna have to take our day off here. We are in Umatilla, Oregon on the Columbia River. These are pieces that are going into the dam. Don't fall out, Fred. The guy who was supposed to meet us here, I'm going to stop here and call him before we go too far.
Got it. I've got a four-wheeler. You want me to let it come around?
Yeah, send him around. I just came down the hill. Do I keep going past the warehouse or do I wait for you at the warehouse? Okay.
I've got two more four-wheelers.
Okay, I'll wait for you here. Thank you. Okay, after they go around, we're just going to move further just a little bit. He's on his way out to meet us.
Okay. Here comes the second one. Okay, the silver one's the last one.
Okay, we'll just hang out here till he comes out.
Perfect.
Well guys, we're done. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let me film inside the hydro dam. Not really surprised. It's too bad because it took me over an hour to back up in there. The load was 13 feet 3 inches and the door is 13 feet 6 inches. Anyway, we got it done. Nothing broken. Loads off the trailer and delivered. Customers happy. Hope y'all are liking these videos, and if you are, I'll keep them coming. Keep on trucking. And I'll leave you with some of the video I took coming across the country if you want to check that out.